Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today is going to be the first of sort of a series of foundation reviews I will be doing. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on your post notifications because I will be doing just a little series of base reviews to help you navigate just the massive amount of base products that are launching and are already on the market. So we're going to be starting with one that you guys rated on the community tab. I asked you between a couple different foundation formulas which one you were interested in seeing reviewed first. It was between this one and the Revlon one. I think this one just inched out a little bit more. This is the NYX Bare With Me Blurring Tint Foundation. And I was super excited to try this out because I am a lover of NYX base products. They usually work really well for my skin. So we'll be doing a review, wear test, all the good stuff. Let's go ahead and get started. So I picked mine up at Ulta. It is $14 and it's a 1.01 ounce tube, pretty standard. It says it's vegan, clean ingredients, and cruelty-free. So let's look at the details here. It says effortless, no filter needed makeup results with a flawless, smooth matte blur finish that never looks cakey or ashy. Available in 24 shades. Breathable, fade, and transfer resistant. A little goes a long way. It says perfect for normal to oily skin to help control shine. It says 12 hours of hydration and up to 16 hours of wear. I don't know about that. Formulated with skin-loving ingredients, glycerin, matcha, and niacinamide. This lightweight slip texture foundation will leave you looking blurred and healthy. Vegan and cruelty-free, and yeah. It says to use their Blur Tint foundation brush to buff the product all over the face for a streak-free blurred finish. Feel free to layer for fuller coverage. Use a small amount of product. A little goes a long way. So let's get into the shade that I picked up. This one is the shade 02 Fair, which is the second line of shade, and it's described as porcelain with warm undertones. So we'll talk about the shades once I get into the application of it, which should be starting around now. The packaging is pretty simple. It just has this like little squeezy tube. I think it's nice to get the amount of product that you need. It's very travel friendly. It's a little cute petite package. So I started with a little bit of this product and I used my sponge to blend it out. This shade 02 Fair, you can see what I'm putting on. It looks light for me, which it is just a tad, which is very unusual because most foundations are usually too dark, even the lighter shades. So if you have very fair skin, I think this is a good range to check out. I always say this for NYX in general. Their fair shades, in my experience, are really good. I can't speak for obviously the medium or deep shade ranges, but they just seem to nail sort of getting that lighter end of the shade range just well represented. Like usually there's not light enough shades, especially at the drugstore. This one I would say runs pretty light, and this is the second to lightest shade. It does claim to have warm undertones, but you might be able to tell when I'm putting it on. It does pull a little bit pink on me, like peachy. I'm not surprised though because I do have a fair like cool olive undertones, so almost nothing I can find matches me. I know a lot of you guys are confused when I say I have an olive undertone, because when you look at my face, I do have a lot of natural pink redness in my face. But the thing with makeup is, I actually learned this from a Danessa Myricks masterclass, is you want to marry the tones in like your neck and chest up into the face, or sort of vice versa, but it's usually easier to, you know, you're putting makeup on your face, you want to match the tones in your neck and your chest. And for me, that is like a fair olive cool shade. And when I have a foundation on, I feel like it's more evident in natural light is that foundations just pull very weird on me. They're either like pink or peach or too orange. You can tell this one is just a little bit too pink on me. So I'm not really sure it's like a true warm fair shade. It's kind of confusing. But I don't know, my skin, it's just a hard thing to match. So just sort of look at my skin and look at your own and see if this might be a good match for you. If you have like a fair neutral undertone, I feel like this one would probably be good for you. They do have a shade lighter than this, which has cool undertones, which I'm sure is super light since this one is pretty light. So with the application, it goes on pretty well. I did use a sponge. I wasn't sure if the sponge would sort of make it weird since this is a silicone based formula and a sponge has water in it, and sometimes those two don't mix. But I just found that's the best way to apply it. I didn't like how it looked with a sponge. this product has been very weird for me, honestly. Every time I apply it, it kind of acts differently. It's a little bit finicky. When I first tried it, I didn't have any dry skin going on and it looked very smooth. In this try on, I had a reaction to another foundation I was testing, so my skin is like all dried up from the rash that I had, so I do have dry patches on my face. And this just honestly, it does not look good on dry skin. If you have dry skin, honestly, if you have dry skin, just run away from this foundation. I don't think it's going to work for you. They do say in the description though, from normal to oily skin, so I definitely agree with that. It is more of a matte finish, so dry skin people, I just don't think this particular skin tint is for you. But I do like that it is more of a matte finish. I find that most skin tints on the market tend to be dewier, so it's nice that they changed it up a little bit. In terms of the name, Blurring Tint Foundation, I feel like brands are putting the word tint in their products maybe just for, what's the word I'm looking for? For more exposure, I guess is what I'm trying to say, meaning that when people are looking up skin tints, this might pop up, even though it's a foundation. I guess it's a tint because you use like less of it. It could be a tint product. I don't know. It's just like a foundation in my mind. It is like the consistency of a foundation. It's not like thin and liquidy like a lot of skin tints. So this is, I would say, light medium with a thin layer, and you could really build it up to like medium full coverage if you use quite a lot of product. But like they mentioned, a little bit does go a long way, and I think this looks better with less product. So as you can see, it did not cover my blemishes. I did have to go in with concealer after that, but it applies pretty nicely. A big thing with this, because it is silicone based, I found a lot of issues with it when I'm wearing like water-based skincare products, which is kind of annoying because I have to alter my skincare just for this foundation. But if you're already using like silicone based products in your skincare routine, this might not be as big of an issue for you. But when I'm using this, I make sure to use silicone or oil-free, non-water-based sort of type products, because it can get patchy and weird and textured looking very quickly, which is kind of one of the big cons of it for me. So although the shade on me is a little bit light at first, I found that once I put the powder on, which I did use the Mercier powder, tiny bit under my eyes and just a light layer over my face so that like it was a cohesive look. The Mercier powder does tint me a little bit like dark, so the fact that this was a little bit light, it kind of worked out in the end with like bronzer on and everything. It looks pretty natural. I feel like this is maybe one of the closest shade matches I found at the drugstore besides the NYX Stay Matte Not Flat. They have a pale shade that matches me really good. These ones aren't the same, which is a little bit weird, but you know. So this would be the first check-in. I believe it was 151 when I finished my makeup, and all the other weird stuff aside about it being silicone based, it does look super smooth. It says that it's blurring, and I do agree with that. It gives you this blurred matte finish, which I do like. I'm a fan of it. It's super smooth, like it blurs your pores. Because it is silicone based, that makes sense that it is smoothing, because silicone sort of creates a second skin on top of your skin almost, which is why it doesn't work with more like water-based products, because those tend to sink in. And then this was the finished look with everything on top of it. It looked good. No complaints other than the dryness, accentuation. I think also if you have more mature skin, this might not be a good fit for you. It does seem to settle into my smile lines a little bit. Before I send you to the final check-in, I did want to share with you a tip, which I think is really helpful for navigating new product launches. First off, I think watching reviews are very helpful to see how it performs on other people's skin. But I would say go into your makeup drawer or just think back in the past and then maybe do some research and find out if the products that you liked in the past for your base were either water-based or silicone-based. This is super easy to do. You can just look at the ingredients and then it will be in the first or second sort of order of the ingredients. This does have silicone and water in it, but the first ingredient is silicone, which means it is a mainly silicone based foundation. If it's water based, it could still have silicone in it as well, but water would be one of the first ingredients. So in my history, I definitely like water based foundations. They just sit really nicely on my skin, on my texture, you have more dryness, they are just a lot more forgiving, and I find they actually break up less as well. But with silicone based formulas, because they sit on the skin a little bit more, which could be nicer if you have like more oily skin, they're a little bit better at oil controlling, but they can start to bunch up and break down because when your skin's natural oils are coming through, it mixes with that silicone, and that's how you get that like cakiness or like breaking down of your makeup. Not to say that doesn't also happen with water-based formulas, but on my skin specifically, I find that water-based formulas work better for me. So if you're trying to figure out if a new base product would work well for you, figure that out and then see what the formula you're looking at has. So this one is silicone based, and it's not my favorite, and I'm not surprised because I do historically like more water-based formulas. So that was a lot of info, I know, but I hope you found it helpful. We'll go on to the end of the day wear test and my final thoughts on this product. Thank you for watching until now. Before you watch the rest of this video, let me know in the comments below how you think this is going to wear on me. I would love to know your predictions, and then you'll see if you're right at the end. But yeah, let's go into that final wear test. So I'm back with my final thoughts and wear update on the NYX Bare With Me Blur Foundation. We'll go ahead and insert clips on what it is looking like. I adjusted the lighting so hopefully you can see as much detail as possible, because unfortunately this just does not wear well on me. It really breaks up on my chin and around my nose. It's not very good at controlling oil as it claims to be. My oil's just mixed with the product and it gets cakey, and it gets cakey looking and like broken up. So like this was pretty good to start, but unfortunately it doesn't wear well, so I can't recommend it. And usually when something like gets pretty oily, I would say it would be nice for dry skin, but this really accentuates dryness. So I'm not sure this would be great for anybody, to be honest. I'm really disappointed because I do enjoy a lot of NYX base products. It didn't oxidize, so I guess that's one pro to it, but other than that, it's kind of a flop, which is really disappointing. If you want a matte foundation, the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop is a great pick. That one is super thin. This one is pretty thin as well, but that one wears beautifully, unlike this bad boy, which does not. I'm gonna put a pinned comment on this video listing the other foundations that I picked up to try, and let me know below which one you would want to see first, and I'll be sure to do that one next. But thank you all for tuning in, and give this video a like if you did find it helpful and enjoyable. It really helps my channel out, and it gets this video out to other people who may need to see this review and find out that it's not worth it. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.